You're 6-3. You're at the top half, so a road win here would go a long way for a big win to start the week.
Oh, it'd be a huge win for Bill Himmelberg and his gang. And, he's been there a long time. He knows how to recruit. He knows how to win.
Here's Brooke Dial with the basketball, their leading scorer. And now down the lane, off the window, no good. Cleared out of there by Tech, and here come the Lady Diggers. Humphreys with the basketball, tries to punch it down low.
Little early
the jitters
for both teams so far.
I mentioned Providence at 6-3 in conference, 10-5 overall. Montana Tech, of course, leads the way, 8-1 in league with a one-game lead over Dakota State. We saw them last week up at Carroll, and it's just nothing but a steady drip of great basketball teams in the Frontier. We saw two great games last week and two good women's programs between Dakota State and Carroll.
Yeah, we did. We saw two buzzer beaters last week. And the Carroll men losing to Bellevue the next night. I mean, this is, as we get to travel, but this Frontier Conference is just stacked. It's loaded from top to bottom. And you look at Tech, Chris, they're 8-1 in conference play. It's been a long time since Tech has sat atop the Frontier.
No question. So, yeah, both teams still looking for their first points of the night. Here's the Ore Diggers in the half court now.
Coach Himmelberg, a big fan of playing zone. He's got the athletes to do it, and a late call there on McKenna Regier. Like I said, she was so highly recruited out of Colville, Washington, was set to be the freshman of the year in the Frontier back in 22 and ended up with an ankle injury. She had surgery again last year, finally a little bit healthy this year.
Well, you talked about injuries. That's definitely been a story for this year's team. But, boy, you look back at the past decade for Coach Himmelberg, nothing but success.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Nice drive to the inside. Shot won't go by Carlson.
You go back 10 years to the NAI tournament, Chris, and you had Providence that was always in that final 8. You had Northern, Carroll, teams that, expected to be there. Now you add these new teams in from the North Star. Just makes the whole league competitive even more.
There's a three on the way that won't go by Banovic, and now a jump ball is called. Possession arrow to Providence.
You talk about Brooke Badavinik and the sophomore from right here in the mining city from Butte Central. What a terrific family. And she's just another one of those Badaviniks that has come through this town.
Well, she had a terrific high school career.
Oh, did she ever.
That was put up all kinds of big numbers. The sophomore from Butte Central, all-state in basketball, softball, and volleyball. Won 11 letters in high schoal.
It's not too bad.
That's not bad at all. And there's the first 2 points of the game as Providence is on the board.
That's the thing when you get Regier that open, that low, get her the ball, let her go to work. She's going to take care of a lot of things.
Tech.
Take a look at that starting lineup, and it's led by Avery Carlson, Chris, who, if you cover the Class A at all, you know that Avery Carlson name because she was part of 3 straight state championships up there in Blue Ponyville.
Yeah, but Havre is the gold standard in Class A girls basketball, along with Billings Central.
Yep.
Bodies on the floor, now kicked out of there, and Montana Tech has it. There's a shot on the way, no contact. Well, there was contact, but no whistle as Carlson got it knocked away.
I think they did get.
Okay.
It was kind of a silent, I think, whistle. Eliana Ramirez with the foul, her first, second on the team. But Avery Carlson was part of that terrific. I think she was a freshman the year that it went overtime up in Great Falls in the State A against Havre and Billings Central.
Carlson, 68% from the free throw line, misses that one.
She might have been a senior on that team. She was good, I know that.
Yes, she was, and gosh, Havre, such an incredible dominant stretch when she was there.
It was a shock a couple years ago when they lost in the semifinals.
Always seem to be teams that have their runs in Class A, be it Malta, Billings Central, or Havre. But the latest, of course, has been Havre. There's a nice double team on the inside as Thurber gets it knocked away. And here comes Tech. Nice pass by Carlson. Drops it down low, and ball taken away by Regier.
Hadley Humphreys is going to get whistled for the foul, a senior from Blackfoot, Idaho. And out there with Liv Wangren, Hallie Haber, Avery Carlson, and we mentioned Brooke Badavinick, your starters for Tech, as you get some substitutions. But Coach Graham has just done an amazing job, and he knew he wanted Montana kids. He won with Montana kids, obviously, in high school at Belt, and he's winning with Montana kids here in Tech.
Well, a whole different philosophy between these two teams. You look at Great Falls, and there's not much local Montana players on the roster, and there's a reason for that. On the other side, Coach Graham, 14 players in all from the Treasure State.
Yeah, just one from Ada State. And when you look at the Argos, they love that Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area. They will go get a lot of recruits out there. They have two. Bella Treemstra from Manhattan Christian and Diamond Root, who's on the bench from East Helena. Talked to her before the game. She was that first East Helena girl to sign a basketball scholarship offer, 3 years into school.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's a feather in the cap of East Helena. And they've started to become competitive very quickly in multiple sports. Here's Dial with a basketball, leads the team in scoring at just over 12 points a game. So far, defensive struggle. Neither team really able to get it going. And that's going to be a travel. Trying to drive the lane and just losing her footing was Ramirez, and she'll turn it over.
It's 2-1, and we've played 3.5 minutes. How much of that is jitters? How much of it is still coming back? I know the University of Providence didn't practice hardly at all this week. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as you get Cameron Cartwright back in, the senior from Pasco, Washington. Her sister, when Cameron was a freshman, Bailey was a senior. It was pretty cool to see them on the floor together. In fact, Bailey came back for a final year just to play once with her sister.
How about that? Here's Nielsen, who's checked into the game, now gives it up. Wangerin, left side, three is on the way, won't go. Neibauer, offensive rebound to the Diggers. Shot partially blocked there as Nielsen went up with a good defense by the Argos. Back the other way we come. Here's a three from the left side, won't go by Dial. Offense tried to get the rebound there, but the Diggers come away with it quickly up the court.
That's one thing the Jeff Graham team is going to do in transition is they will pressure up the floor. They're good at the half court, but they get up and down the court pretty well, and we get a foul.
Yeah, Neibauer draws the foul. She'll go to the line. 5'10" guard out of Chinook, averaging just under 7 a game.
The Chinook Sugar Beaters, one of the greatest mascot names in the state of Montana. And it goes back to the World War I. The Sugar Beaters fed a lot of the country.
I'm sure they did. There's a tough shot inside, well contested, and this one will go to Providence. Well, when I was down in Colorado many years ago, there was a community down there, Brush, Colorado, about the same size as Chinook, and they were called the Beat Diggers.
Oh.
So you put those two schools together and you got something.
That'd have been a great rivalry.
Still 2-1, coming down to the 5-minute mark, first half. Neither team able to score a three-pointer on the way. Back iron no good, as Ribel can't get it.
And both teams, Chris, are doing a fantastic job on the defensive rebounding side of things at the moment, not allowing opponent to get that O board and a chance for an easy putback.
Good ball rotation there and contact in the lane. And another foul. So the Argos now 14 fouls. Timeout taken on the court. 4:59 to play here in the first. 2-1 game here in Butte.
Series.
This Montana Sports Series presentation of Frontier Conference basketball is made possible in part by the Billings Clinic. Billings Clinic, trust and be trusted. strive for excellence, serving Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. Well, a defensive game to say the least. 4:59 to play in this opening quarter. 2-1 in favor of the Argos.
You know, and it's kind of crazy because Tech is averaging 74 points, giving up 54. Meanwhile, Providence is averaging 62.5 while giving up just under 59. You got a long way to go. You got to score in a hurry to get some of those points.
Both teams can score the basketball. There's a nice move inside by Neibauer. Offensive rebound is up and in as Haber scores, and the Diggers get their first 2 points of the night.
And their first lead.
Foul. Just the second. Make that third foul for Montana Tech here in the first. So the first basket comes at the 4:40 mark of the first quarter. Fortunately for Montana Tech, Jason, the Argos just as cold.
Yeah, Argos got the first two, and then after that just shut down.
Yeah, nice kick out. Dial gets the offensive rebound to keep it alive. Dial's been quiet so far. Now forces action inside. She can't get it to go. Cleared out of there by Humphreys.
Can't wait to see the first quarter shooting percentages, or maybe you don't want to see them.
I don't think you do if you're the coaches, that's for sure. And that one rattles around and falls by Wangaren. And the senior from Plentywood scores. She's averaging right at 10 a game, gets her first two, 5-2 favor of Montana Tech.
Yeah, a little 5-0 run, and Tech finally starting to make some baskets. That it just opens up the confidence for everybody. Now it's the Argos' turn to see if they can do it.
Good defense by Montana Tech. They clear it out of that. Haber gets it up top. Ooh. Oh, here comes the trailer down the lane, up and in. Haber came down the lane trailing. Gets the two, and it's now a 7-0 run for Montana Tech.
Yeah, she put the ball, or brought it up the court, and then ended up just going to the basket, and good things will happen. It's like hockey. You just crash the net.
And there's another
steal.
Turnover. Yeah, Humphreys. And she's going to hold it up now. Now feeds the cutter. Nicely done there as Haber connects. And Coach Himmelberg will take a timeout. Montana Tech on a 9-0 run to lead by 7 here with 3:07 to play in the first. And after a very slow start, Jason, Montana Tech starting to play better basketball.
Yeah, they are. They were down 2-1 at that first media timeout, and all of a sudden it's an 8-0 run in the last minute 53 essentially. And again, it's just Jeff Graham basketball, right? You play good defense, that turns into offense. And as you look at the coaches, Coach Graham in his fourth season, Bill Himmelberg's done a great job in 16-plus years for the Argos. You know, he's got the overall percentage, but these two coaches know each other because Himmelberg recruited Belt High School.
That's right.
10 years ago, and even up till Graham left.
Well, and that is the way the Frontier Conference works. There's
Right.
a lot of interconnection there between coaches and players. And
Yep. Well, it was a good shot of Coach Himmelberg there with two of his assistants, Steph McDonough, an All-America, Emily Maldonado, an All-America at Providence in their time in Great Falls. Just terrific young ladies over there that can play some hoops, too.
down low and a tough shot up and in by Mika Fiski.
Well, and that's a nice look, too, for Providence. Out of the timeout, got her the ball. Not only stops the scoring drought, but also shows your team again that you can still make baskets.
So that stops the run, and the Argos get just their fourth point of the night. Lead is 5. Under 2.5 to play here in the first. Long three on the way, won't go. Carlson shot and rebounded by Montana Tech. So they will keep the basketball here. Kick it back out, and another three on the way. This one won't go by Blaricom. And the Argos now with the ball.
Rachel Van Blaricom started her college career up with Chris Mowat in Havard, MSU Northern, transferred down here, closer to home, and there's the first three of the game.
Nicely done by Eliana Ramirez as she hits the three, averaging just under 10 a game.
It's a 5-0 run now by the Argos.
Ramirez, 13 threes on the season, coming into tonight's game. And now it's a 2-point game.
And good defense by Regier, forces the turnover. I mentioned Rachel Van Blericum coming down from Havre to Butte here on the transfer. You know, she played her high school ball just 30 miles away up in Boulder. Was a standout athlete there for Jefferson High, whether it was volleyball, whether it was basketball or track.
Well, and that's a great point. A great point, Jason, because when you look at the Montana players that are recruited to play basketball, if you go back and look at there's a nice drive there on a good finish.
And it ties it up.
Yeah, Ramirez ties it at 9. Is when you look back at their high school careers, they're multiple sports. Very few play just one sport.
Yep.
Usually it's 2, 3.
And that's something, as the ball is saved and then goes out of bounds, it'll stay with Tech, but that's something that the last 2 decades I've really seen is, you know, coaches focusing more on that. And you talk to head coaches, whether it's football, they recruit guys that are fantastic wrestlers and basketball players and track athletes, just because you can, like, you look at Troy Anderson. He was recruited as an athlete from Dillon to Montana State,
right?
And for a couple years, he was the best linebacker in the NFL, or in the Big Sky Conference, playing quarterback and running back.
Well, you know, you were talking about someone like Hallie Haber. Played in the Montana All-Star basketball game, but she was All-State in volleyball and track as well. And that's typical of the kind of players that you see out on the court.
Yep, just athletes.
And smaller schools give you that opportunity too, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that's what's cool about the Frontiers. You get these smaller school players. It's not all about the AA. I mean, we're going to see a girl from Roberts later. I mean, she's just good basketball, and finally an offensive rebound, and Providence has the lead back.
Nicely done. Elaine Rogel, she gets 2. Freshman from Ellensburg, Washington, and the Argos now back on top, 11-9.
Well, what do we always say? Basketball's a game of runs, right?
Exactly.
We saw the big run by the by Tech, and now a big run here by the Argos to get back into it.
Wholesale substitutions for the Diggers as they bring the fresh 4 back into the lineup with 30 seconds to play here in the first quarter. A full court pressure now for Coach Graham and the Diggers. Go to the double team trap, but they break it easily. And across is Ramirez. And the bucket and a chance for the three-point play.
That's a great play by the junior from Spokane Valley, Washington. And we talked about it last week in our game, Chris, that the offensive player is good at drawing fouls but initiating the contact. And that's what she did there.
So Ramirez tries to complete the three-point play, 71% on the season from the charity stripe. Well, Montana Tech had that 8-0 run, and then they've gone quiet, and since then, big run for the Argos. This will be a 14-0 run?
It is a 12-0
They're 12
run.
Okay.
Yep. I try to keep somewhat of a semblance of neatness, but we're writing on the fly.
Nice pass inside, good crossover move, shot up and no good. Haber can't get it to go, and the Argos with a chance here. At the end of the first, the drive, traveling's the call. Turn it over to Montana Tech.
Yeah, just a little out of control, wanted to beat the clock, ended up dribbling it out of bounds. Did Rival, redshirt freshman from Phoenix.
And this inbound should end the first quarter.
Yeah, just get it in.
And there it is.
That's good defense.
That's great defense.
You avoid the foul, the double team, block it.
Still contest the shot. So 10 minutes of basketball in the books here in Butte. It's Providence leading by 5 over Montana Tech. 14-9 your score here at Kyle Sampson Arena.
Billings.
And just a reminder, stick around on SWX. The men's basketball half of our Frontier Conference doubleheader starts at 7 o'clock on SWX. Montana Tech in a bit of a drought here, surrendering an early lead to Providence, and now trail 14-9 as we begin the second. Lots of contact, and out of bounds to the Diggers.
Well, you know, we saw a Montana Tech run of 9-0, and then now it's a 12-0 run here by Providence to end the first quarter. So both teams, you know, finally figuring things out, it seems.
Carlson inbounds. And a nice entry pass inside, shot contested, whistle and a foul.
Well, Regier wasn't really fronted up. She was more turned to the side, and looks like as we take a look at that replay, she might have got, see her leaning in with that hand, and easy call for the officials. Another great crew on tap tonight here in the Frontier. We talk about all the time how good the conference officiating is, and it's a good one tonight.
Callie Haber at the line, 75% from the line, gets the first to go.
You know, Chris, we talk about the Montana connections for Montana Tech, and they're all small town schools, except for Haber, who's from Billings West, the only AA.
Great career with the Golden Girls, coming out of a great program. Second free throw does not go, so the lead remains at 4 at 14-10. Just underway, second quarter. Providence 6-3 in the Frontier Conference. Montana Tech perfect at home. Now here's a steal back the other way. Batavidic with the steal and the bucket. Nicely done.
She's so good, and I mean, if you're a fan of the Butte Central Maroons, you saw her do that a lot for 4 straight, I think 5 years. She plays as an 8th grader.
Top of the key, three-pointer not contested, so Thurber knocks it down. The senior from Stansbury Park, Utah. Puts the Argos up 5, 17-12. Both teams starting to heat up now offensively. Here comes Thurber with the basketball. Gives it up. 3 on the way, left side. That one is no good. Batavidic with the rebound.
That's good defense by Tech, getting back in transition to hold Argos to 1 shot. And then Argos return the favor.
Yeah, Carlson can't finish. Here's Dial with the basketball. Stutter step, goes down baseline. Nice crossover move. And Brooke Dial, their leading scorer this season, gets her first 2 points of the night.
And it comes at the 8:20 mark of the second quarter. She had some looks early, as most players on the floor did. She gets her first one to drop. And kind of it's called a hold.
Boy,
that's a...
Cameron Cartwright called on that one?
No, it was on Tech. Or it was on Providence, but it's on 15.
Yeah, it was on
Lainey Rogel.
It was on Rogel.
Yeah, freshman from Ellensburg, Washington. She was burned baseline and just reached out. Really, it's a good foul.
Here's Neibauer, drives into the lane, gets the shooter's touch and scores. I didn't see if she was the one that actually shot it.
She did.
The official was right there, making a better door than a window. But 19-14, under 8 to play first half. Providence backdoor cut, nicely done, and an even better finish as Ramirez makes a beautiful backdoor cut, nice pass, and an easy 2, lead is 7.
That was a play call up the court from Coach Himmelberg. He knew what he wanted. They executed perfectly.
Neibauer for 3. This time it won't go. Nice offensive rebound. And a good job by Olivia Nielsen to keep it alive. Second team foul for the Argos here in the second quarter. Inbounds to Nielsen. 3 on the way, and this one won't go. Rebound to Haber. And finally pulled out of there by Providence. Rogel comes away with it. Gives it up to Ramirez. 7-point lead. Lady Argos, three-pointer, wide open. This time won't go. Neibauer with the rebound. Blaricum with the basketball. Nice pass inside. And they quickly collapse on the double team, kick it out. Three on the way, this time from the right side. And Neibauer again misses. Well, she's been open in the corner but hasn't able to finish as Dial comes right back and draws the foul.
Good hustle down the floor by Dial as she's, maybe starting to get going a little bit. That first basket made is we're going to get a line change from Tech.
Neibauer has 9 threes on the season, and they pretty much left her alone in the corner, but she has not been able to capitalize.
No, if that's the case, if Tech is going to look to her to keep shooting from the outside, Providence back off, sag down on that low post, help out defense, and let her make a three or shoot them until she makes one.
So Dial, 73% on the line, gets her third point of the night. Pushes the lead to 8 here in quarter number 2. And that time won't go. Rebound to Montana Tech.
She kind of short-armed that one.
Wangaren with the basketball. Going to work in the half court. Good defense here by the Lady Argos. Every shot being contested, especially on the inside. Ball tipped out, goes off the hands of Dial. Will stay with Montana Tech. But every time Montana Tech goes inside, they're making some nice entry passes. The Lady Argos collapse on defense and really make those shots tough.
No, they really do, and that's a Bill Himmelberg team, and that's an offensive foul. The moving screen. Kylie Conan out of Dillon, a freshman. Talk about athletes. How about Dillon?
Yeah.
They keep pumping them out.
They do, don't they?
Oh, man.
Just dominant, seem to be dominant in multiple sports every year. Wide open three, left side. That won't go.
The rival got a good look.
She sure did. Uncontested three. And there's a nice drive. Pull-up jumper is good. A nice little floater by Liz Wangaren. And the senior from Plentywood, averaging 10 a game. Pulls the Diggers to within 6.
Very pretty and very succinct.
And a shot they needed right now. They have been stone cold here in the first half. There's the double team. They kick it out. Deep three baseline and somehow rattles in. And Eliana Ramirez hits the three. And the lead is 9.
Largest of the game. Her 14th made three of the season. Argos usually a much better three-point shooting team than they have been this year.
Back the other way by Carlson. Her three won't go. Halfway through quarter number 2. Lead is 9. Top of the show we mentioned, Montana Tech is perfect at home so far this season at 7-0. Dial. Drive, and there it is. Yep.
They're going to give her the offensive foul. I think she got the arm extended on the drive just a little bit.
Wangaren with a nice job of taking the charge. And that takes us to a timeout. 4:46 to play in the first half. Providence leads by 9. Lunch for the SWX crew provided locally by Pork Chop John's, a Butte America favorite since 1924. Pork Chop John's uptown and downtown Butte, online at porkchopjohns.com.
You ever done a football game here at Tech with the pork chops out in the tailgate?
Yes.
They are good.
Yeah. Well, we did a bunch of football games here this fall in Butte, and the crew, of course, always treated as a pork chop Johnson.
Oh, absolutely. You have to when you come to Butte, right?
Well, it's a staple. Yeah, sure. You get Bobby Beers talking about pork chop Johnson. He'll go for a whole quarter. And shot won't go again. Oh, tied up
steal.
and taken away. Yeah.
Ramirez just reached in, ripped it out.
Looked like Nielsen had it, but then taken away. Crossover move. Ramirez for three. Front irons it short. And back the other way quickly to Wangerin with a nice fake up and in.
We used to call that cherry picking back in the day.
We still do and still can. Well, I think she got caught up, went down so fast, and then there was that quick shot, long rebound, and she was right there at half court. Boy, they are not shy from beyond the arc as Rival can't get it.
Well, Providence 29.5% as a team coming in, 32.2% for Tech. And if you're a team that's over 30%, that's really good. Tech, though, hasn't hit one yet tonight.
They dump it down low, immediately double-teamed. Neibauer with a nice drive. And Neibauer cuts the lead to 5 at 25-20. 3:25 to play first half.
6-0 run here by the Orediggers.
And that pretty much is the way we've played the first half. It's been runs by both teams. Shot from the left side, and no chance there for Regier, and here comes Montana Tech. Neibauer sealed off nicely and now taken away. Good defense by Regier.
Well, and it's nice to have that length up on top in a zone for that reason right there.
Yep.
McKenna's 6 foot. Her reach is probably 7'5".
A combination, really, Jason, of good defense by both teams and poor shooting. And we've got ourselves a low-scoring game so far at the 2:30 mark of the first half. Argos lead by 5.
Well, good defense leads to the poor shooting, leads to turnovers. It's just all goes hand in hand. And now it's nice to see both teams heating up a little bit.
Yeah, both teams getting into a better flow offensively as Ryville will go to the line for free throws. She's an 82% free throw shooter on the season. 24 of 29.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. Their first shot is up and in. Back to a 6-point game. Second free throw, also good. Biggest lead by either team's been 9 points for the Argos. And Tech playing pretty much from behind since the start of the second quarter.
You got to give credit as Badavinik fires a 3. It's an air ball and the rebound to Providence. But give credit to the Argo defense because Avery Carlson has yet to really start taking off yet either.
Yeah, and they're going to need her for sure.
She doesn't average a lot, 6.5, but she is such a great facilitator and defender out there. And any point she gives you is a bonus, and Badavinik another steal.
Great job by Badavinik on the defensive end. And now the drive, and Carlson draws the contact.
Oh, they call it
offensive. They call it charge,
yeah. I think it's an illegal screen. And it is. That's on Humphreys. That's her third, the forward senior out of Blackfoot, Idaho. You look at Coach Graham and the assistants that he's got. Frankie Bignell had a very nice playing career at Western. Aubrey Rodemaker, another fantastic Frontier Conference basketball player.
Well, you say the name Bignell, and there's a whole lot of those across the state of Montana.
Especially in southwest part of the state, man.
Wow,
they
no
are
kidding.
Everywhere. Nice drive.
And you remember the 84 Bobcat National Championship team, and Joe Bignell was the tight end on that team. He was an outstanding player. And how about that game earlier this week?
Oh, man.
Tremendous win for Montana State, and picking up their second FCS national title.
I saw something the other day from the Big Sky Conference that Montana State now with 3 titles as a Big Sky Conference member, the most of any team in the conference. Of course, you got the Grizz with 2. But, yeah, what a game.
Oh, tremendous. And what was unbelievable about it, and I don't know if the FCS is going to start rethinking that, the home of the FCS is, of course, in Frisco, which seats about 20,000 people, and they had that place packed.
Yeah.
You just wonder, is the FCS outgrown their home down in Frisco? There's a drive down the lane that won't go by Carlson. And here comes Great Falls.
They got a 5-on-4. Wongren hit the floor, was slow to get up. She finally gets down and then comes up with the rebound, but it's a foul on Cameron Cartwright with the push in the back.
So down to 1:06 here in the first half. The lead is 9, largest of the game.
Yep, match it.
For Great Falls, matches their largest. Just a tough shooting half for the home team tonight, Montana Tech. Going to have to regroup at the break.
They had that 9-0 run midway point of that first quarter, and since then, Providence has tightened up the defense. It's also helped that the Argos have made more shots, feeling the confidence on both ends now.
Argos really extending that defense, jumping out. There's contact, whistle, and a foul. It's going to go against rival.
She hasn't yet experienced a true Montana winter, being from Phoenix as a redshirt freshman.
She still hasn't.
No, she hasn't last year or this year.
I'm on the drive over here from Billings, Jason. My wife was looking out the window and just, where's the snow? I mean, there isn't any on the mountains, let alone down in the valleys.
No, I'm driving in from Helena, coming down the hill. You got a controlled
of course
burn out there, and it's always nice though when the roads are crystal clear.
I'll take that as Hopper goes to the line.
Just a 53% free throw shooter.
She's struggled this year from the line. But that usually will do the trick there.
You're welcome.
She just looked over here and gave you a nod, a thumbs up. Let's see if she can make it 2 for 2. Of course she does.
Absolutely. Why not?
So the lead now down to 7 at 29-22. Full court pressures. They try to trap in the backcourt. Dial has it. Now crosses over. Pulls up. Oh, beautiful job.
Badavinik again.
Badavinik with a block. Under 30. And then a little fake, and up and in is Ainsley Thurber, and the senior gets it to fall.
That was a great play by her. She just let the defense blow past and had the wide open look.
So we'll see if Tech plays for 1 here to end the half. Nice pass inside, up and in. Well executed. Olivia Nielsen with a basket. And the 6-foot forward pulls the Diggers. It was 7 at the buzzer. No good. It was close. Would have counted if it went. So we're through the first half here in Butte. Frontier Conference women's basketball. And it's the visitors, the Argos from Providence, leading over Montana Tech 31-24. Halftime is next. You're watching college basketball on SWX. welcome back to halftime at the Valley Bank Arena here on the campus of Montana Tech, where Providence on top of Montana Tech by 7 at the break, 31-24, in a cold shooting first half by both teams. Started to heat up just a little bit in the second quarter, but the Diggers with some work to do if they want to maintain their perfect record at home. 7-0 coming into this one. All right, let's switch gears for just a moment, Jason. Talk some high school hoops. We're nearing the halfway point of the season. We're going to talk some AA basketball first and take a look at the girls' standings in the Eastern AA. And these are the updated looks so far, and there you have it.
Yeah, the Bozeman Hawks, unbelievable. You know, you go back to their run under Brad Russin back in the 90s and early 2000s. And then Gallatin. I get to call that crosstown matchup in a couple of weeks down there in the Gallatin Valley. That's going to be a fun one. And, you know, once again, there's Wes sitting right there. What do you expect but West girls to be near the top of the standing? And then Senior has played very well. Belgrade, tough go as they've, you know, the last few years moving up to AA. They'll get it figured out. But I love that East, the way it's shaping up right now.
Yeah, really, everybody hanging in there and getting some wins, even at the bottom of the standings, with the exception of Belgrade, as you mentioned. Tough season there. All right, from the East then, the Eastern AA, we move over to the Western AA, and again, at the top, much like last week, Missoula Hellgate and Missoula Big Sky.
Well, that and then Capital getting its first conference win is big for the Bruins. You know, they won, 2 straight basketball championships, 19 and 20. They were just loaded. You had the volleyball team that won 3 in a row. Flathead, still looking for that first win of the season, and that's a team that has gotten better over the last couple of years. I'm anxious to see what the Bravettes can do moving forward. And now Western AA, it's going to come down, I think, to those 2 Missoula schools.
Yeah, starting to look that way, at least what we've seen so far in the early going. We'll see if some of those teams in the middle of the pack can make a move as we get to the back. So that's how the Western AA girls standings look through a half dozen games or so. And then from there we move to the Eastern A. And Eastern A, of course, AA. I don't know if we're going to talk about Eastern A or okay, we can talk about the Eastern A if we want to.
Yeah, there's just some good basketball.
There's some great basketball. We talked about that last week, about just how good the Eastern A is year in and year out.
Well, you look at it. Havre, Billings Central. I mean, the list goes on. And it's an East conference, no question about it.
Yep.
The entire A is all about the East.
So that's how we look going into this week from the high school standpoint. And right here, we are at the break and a 7-point lead for Providence. We'll step aside and take a break. And when we come back, we've got some highlights, stats, and scores, all that stuff straight ahead. You're watching college basketball. It's halftime on SWX.
Weather heading our way.
31-24 our score here at the break. Providence on top of the home team, Montana Tech. It's Take a look at the banners that fly above this Valley Bank Arena, and there are more than a few.
There are just a few, yeah. And we just saw the ones from track, which is fantastic. And I remember being down here, they hung a Frontier Conference football championship banner during a Carroll Tech game, of course, right?
Right.
And then the football team all left at halftime of the men's game. They're like, well, we got our banner, we're out. But this is a great place to watch a game.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It's terrific. And, of course, the court named in honor of the great Calvin Sampson, who got his coaching start right here back in 1982, I think. And one of the assistants that he brought with him was Mark Adams, who left when Calvin left and came over to Billings and coached at Rocky Mountain College, and at the time was the youngest college coach in the country. I think he was 25 years old. Took the Battling Bears to the 1987 NAIA tournament in Kansas City, their first trip ever. And, of course, he's now a very good commentator for ESPN.
And he's also a fantastic baseball coach.
He is.
In where they live in Ohio or wherever. And his wife, Judy Van Atta Adams, a fantastic, in fact, she's in the University of Providence Hall of Fame, got inducted a couple years ago.
Well, we all know Coach Sampson, and he's done okay.
Moderately, yeah.
All right, let's jump into some highlights. Jason, first of all, in the first half, let's start with Montana Tech, and we'll show you some of the early scoring, but points came at a premium.
They did, and, Tech fell behind 2-0, and then they didn't score until the 5-minute mark with a free throw. And then after that, it was an 8-0 run, part of a 9-0 run. They finally got some things going. Tech, though, still, Chris, 0 for 9 from beyond the arc. That is right now a big difference in this game because they haven't hit from outside. And Brooke Badavinik leading the way, and she's doing what she's done since 8th grade, and that is just steals and defense.
Well, and you had mentioned earlier in the first quarter, both teams pretty good offensively.
Yeah.
And so, we expected a little more offense, but it was a combination, I think, of just good deep defensive pressure and then some cold shooting. But Montana Tech kind of bouncing around there, led early in the first quarter, got behind by 9 a couple of times. That was the largest lead for either team in that first half. And then we pick it up with the Argos on the offense.
Yeah, they haven't hit from beyond the arc as much as they'd like. They're just 3 of 13. But what that did is start to open up, and then when you have a guard like Eliana Ramirez that can get up and down so quick, the floor, and then offensive rebounds have been a premium for either team in this game too, and the Argos just a little bit more and able to knock down some big shots.
Well, and you see the way they're playing tonight, you see the way their play reflected by their coach, Coach Himmelberg. They're used to winning.
Yes.
And they've been good for a long, long time. And as you mentioned, they got to the championship a couple of years ago. They won the Frontier last year, and it kind of came from way back to do it. So they know what it takes to get things done. He's an experienced, he's a veteran coach, and you're seeing you're seeing that in the way they're playing here tonight on the road against a good Tech team.
Well, and real quick too is they've had one losing season in the last 15. And that was a total anomaly because this is a team that is built to win, and they do it consistently, not only in the Frontier, but non-conference play as well.
Absolutely. All right, so we will take one more break as we wrap up halftime here in Butte. Stay with us. Our halftime rolls on here in the Mining City. closing in on the start of the second half of tonight's game, first of a doubleheader, and Jason, Providence most certainly playing with heavy hearts tonight.
They are, Chris. Caitlin Heidemann, a former player, just would have graduated this year, but she went home to finish her final semester, played 3 years for the Argos, and she passed away in a helicopter crash a week ago tonight down in Arizona, and totally missed. A fantastic young lady. Got to know her a little bit her freshman year from Hermiston, Oregon. Fantastic family, and just a wonderful, wonderful young lady that will certainly be missed. And because that, Coach Himmelberg, they didn't practice much this week, hardly at all. So he didn't know what to expect when this team came out tonight. And you saw that a little bit, Chris, in the first quarter. But they've started to pick it up a little bit, but a definite big loss. And then, assistant coach Mike McLean lost his wife in a car wreck 2 days later, just 5 days ago. And it's just been a big, sad week at the University of Providence for sure.
So sad in the life of a young person cut so short, and as you said, it isn't something you just come back from. I mean, there has to be a process.
Well, a lot of these girls played with Kate. They knew her, and not just because of basketball, but the love that they build as a family. Sports is all about family. A team is a family, and we're seeing it on both sides here. But, yeah, what a fantastic young lady. And I think, Chris, like I said, it goes back to the slow start, the sluggish start that the Argos had. They've definitely picked it up.
Well,
shooting 39% from the floor now. Yeah,
and let's take a look at those numbers. As you mentioned, both teams really struggling, especially the Argos in that first quarter. As you take a look at the first half numbers.
Yeah, the big difference, as I mentioned, is that three-point percentage. The Argos 3 of 13. That's not great, but the Diggers are 0 for 9. And then the offensive rebound, that has actually helped the Diggers, and we look at that longest run. Basketball's a game of run. 12-0 run by the Argos to take that lead. They haven't relinquished it, or Diggers got the first quarter ended with a 9-0 run. So, I mean, this is just good basketball being played by both teams, and it's fun to watch. I can't wait for the second half.
Well, we'll see if Montana Tech can regroup on the offensive end, and as you see Coach Graham over there getting the troops rallied up and getting them ready, and he talked about his success in such a very short time, 358 wins with belts, 6 state seed championships, a 6-time Montana Coach of the Year. Then he comes to Butte. His first year they win 7 games, pumps it up to 12 the next year, and then 18 last year, making the NAI tournament for the first time in over 10 years.
Yeah, and well-deserved for them to get there. I mean, this is just – Coach Graham is a fantastic coach, both him and Coach Himmelberg. But I love what Coach Graham has built down here after some years of – not good basketball.
Here's Dial as she gets sealed off on the baseline. Argos with the basketball to start the second half. Good defense by Montana Tech. Shot clock down to 5. Dial gets it off. Won't go. Nice defensive sequence for Montana Tech. Humphreys skip past cross court.
Carlson's got to shoot that.
They need to get her going here. And again, nice baseline drive, spin move, and shot is up and in by Wangren, and she'll go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
That's a big play, a cross-court pass, a dangerous pass, and Wangren did a fantastic job. Didn't use the backboard, which you're supposed to from the side you're taught, right?
Right, yep.
And she just, beautiful touch right over the rim. Dropped it in, chance for 3.
84% free throw shooter and completes the three-point play. So just like that, Montana Tech back to within 4 at 31-27. Just underway third quarter. Men to follow after this one. Entry pass, turnaround shot. No, it won't go. Dragier can't get it to go, and quickly the Diggers back the other way on offense. Wandering.
She's not going to miss many of those. Sorry, Chris. She's so smooth from that elbow.
Good post move inside, but Humphreys can't finish. Got a great look at it.
That'll be one thing to keep an eye on, too, is Humphreys. She had 3 fouls in that first half.
Good kick out pass to Dial, and Carlson with the nice defense to knock it away. Done a good job on Brooke Dial so far today.
They have. They definitely have.
She's had some big games.
Nice move by Regier. Just left. Her shot's a little flat right now.
Carlson now crosses over, goes to work on Dial.
It's almost a 1-2-2, and there's the three.
That's what they've been wanting. Is Wongren has 6 points here in the first 2 minutes. It's a 1-point game at 31-30. You said it, game of runs.
6-0 run to start the
6-0
third.
to start the third, you're right.
First couple minutes of any quarter and the last couple minutes of any quarter or half, huge. And this is great defense again.
Nice job by Regier to save it. Shot on the way and good. Nicely done by Ramirez. She has had herself a nice game.
She definitely has. The 5'5 junior out of Spokane Valley. That's a much-needed hoop for the Argos.
Shot won't go. Cleared out of there by Cartwright.
You know, we talked, Chris, about how slow both teams started. The first quarter, Providence actually was 46%. Some of those came late. Tech shot 28% in that first quarter, and then it was about even 33 to 35% in the second quarter.
Yeah, and despite that poor shooting percentage, Jason, a 3-point game here early in the third.
That's what you get in the Frontier. You just get great competitive basketball, and we've mentioned it from top to bottom. We haven't seen all the teams, you know, the new ones, especially from the Dakotas and Nebraska, but I love the bigger Frontier.
Here's Thurber. And Thurber with a nice move to the basket. 5'10 senior from Utah. And
it's a 5-0 Argo run now.
Well, we were treated to a great doubleheader in Carroll last week. Both games went right down to the wire.
Buzzer beaters.
Buzzer beaters, both men and women. Yep. Nice offensive rebound and putback, and a nice answer for Montana Tech. Batovic with the bucket.
Well, she's so good. Not only from the perimeter, but she had great inside position. She had the defender on her hip on the baseline, and she was basically wide open.
Cartwright with a pass to Dial. Nicely done with the left hand and scores. 37-32. Lead is 5. Execution perfect.
High post.
Oh, nice play there. Wide open look as Humphreys and just airballs it as the Diggers bring 3 in to substitute.
That looked like what I do on the golf course with my 60-degree wedge. You just pull it.
They call you Shankopotamus? Is
yeah. Pressure from the backcourt from the Diggers. They've used it off and on this year, or this game, and it's had some success.
5-point game. Ramirez goes to the left hand, drives baseline, reverse, draws the foul. She'll shoot a couple.
And we had 21 combined assists in that first half. Neither coach likes that, and I'm sure that was discussed in the locker rooms. Got to hold on to the ball.
71% shooter this season, just under 6 to go here in the third quarter. Much different tone offensively by both teams here in the second half, Jason. That first half, we didn't have 3 points at the start of the first quarter.
We didn't. It came 4:45 mark. We got the 3-point mark.
Finally got it going. And Ramirez can't get the first of a one-on-one, so here comes Montana Tech quickly. Back the other way. Humphreys dumps it down low. Nice pass. Baseline shot is up and in. Well done, Olivia Nielsen. 6-foot junior out of Wyoming.
Kemmerer.
Good drive by Dial. Gets her own rebound. She's triple teamed. Now kicks it out of there. That leaves everybody open from the outside, and now Humphrey's going to bring it across herself. I'll take care of this. Oh, great defense.
Fantastic defense by Regier, and again, it goes back to her length.
She just stuff blocked that entry pass, didn't she?
It was like one of the college football playoff games where the defensive lineman sacked the quarterback, came away with the ball, almost scored.
That's right.
You know, Tech is not afraid to go to the bench.
No, they're not. 4:51 to play here in the third. Montana Tech trails by 3.
Building Center.
Hey, coming up tomorrow, we've got Big Sky Conference basketball on SWX. We're in Missoula as Eastern Washington takes on the Lady Grizz.
Yeah, Lady
From
Grizz.
Montana, I think you're going to be on the call of that game. That should be fun.
I will be, and it'll be a good time sitting there in Dahlberg, Robin Selvig Court.
Yep.
And I mean, just the respect I think everybody we have for Robin Selvig. And Nate Harris, a little slow in his starting, 0-3 in the Big Sky. That'll be a good game to watch. Eastern coming off the overtime loss last night in Bozeman.
Well, you see all these Hall of Fame coaches that we talk about either at the Frontier level or even Division II. Then you look at the number of wins by Coach Selvig, and it just doesn't even seem fathomable. I mean, you get coaches up into that 250, 300 win total, and you're talking Hall of Fame numbers. You're not even halfway home with Coach Selvig.
No, you've got to quadruple that. Also.
Yeah.
865 career wins.
Just unbelievable.
And then I like the hire they had of Coach Nate Harris. I think he's going to turn it around up there. Some down years over the last decade. But Lady Grizz will be back, I guarantee it.
And back to this one now in the Frontier Conference. Argos launch Montana Tech comes back and knocks down the 3. That was huge.
Rachel Van Blaricum, her first points, and that is something she adds to this team, is the ability to shoot outside with the bright orange socks or shoes.
And that ties the game at 37.
A little 5-0 run.
Argos back to work on the inside, will draw the foul. Mokafisi will go to the line to shoot free throws in a tie game.
Senior out of North Salt Lake, Utah. A couple of players from Utah. Ainsley Thurber from Stansbury Park, which is, not a typical recruiting area for Bill Himmelberg, but like I mentioned earlier, he loves that inland empire out there in Washington, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area.
Mokafisi just 40% from the line, but she looks good on those two. Knocks them both down, and just like that, the Argos are back on top, 39-37. Just under 4 minutes to play here in the third.
Couple of ties. That's our third or second. Excuse me, just 2 lead changes. If I'm Tech, I look for Van Blaricum again, and good closeout defense there by Thurber.
Yeah, and then the double team down there on the baseline. And that's going to lead to a turnover. Ramirez is there to scoop it up. Providence back the other way on offense. And a nice dribble drive. Oh, nice fake on the inside. And Rival with the finish.
Redshirt freshman looked like a senior on that play.
Out of Phoenix, Arizona. Nicely done. 4-point lead for the Argos.
I've been trying for about 10 years to convince my wife to move to Phoenix. She won't do it. Nice again. Steal.
She loves the winters in Montana.
Yes, she lives. Yes.
It's the banana belt. Nice pass inside. They collapse.
Good recognition. The extra pass there from Cartwright.
Yeah, led to a wide open look for a 3, but won't go. Mokafisi did a nice job. She got double teamed, kicked it out. They got a nice look at it.
And a nice job by Cartwright to get the extra pass. I know they didn't get the basket, but that extra pass leaves somebody wide open typically, especially against the zone. Tech, 7 straight wins. It's in danger right now.
Yep, 12-1 overall. They've won 12 of their first 13 games under Coach Graham. Now this ball just thrown away. Turnover. We did a game in his first year with this Montana Tech team, and that was the big question mark, is how he was going to do it. He did struggle to make that transition, and just those 7 wins in that first year. But boy, it didn't take long. What's most impressive, and obviously he can coach.
Yeah.
But when you look at the roster, I mean, that's a who's who of Montana girls basketball players. You're competing against the Lady Grizz, the Bobcats, and everyone else in the Frontier.
Yep.
And MSU Billings.
Yes, let's not forget about the D2 school. Nice block. Great pass.
And Neibauer just was able to track it down, but not able to finish the play. She's got a look here. Splits the defense, whistle and a foul.
She almost lost that dribble. The foul came about the same time, so maybe a bailout.
Very few fouls here in the third quarter. 2 minutes to play, neither team in the bonus.
I don't know if either team made the bonus in the first half either, in either quarter.
I don't think. Oh, there's a nice spin move and finish by Hadley Humphreys. And Humphreys, averaging 12.5 points a game, gets a big bucket there.
And that's a nice play. They went to the high post, and she just drove it down the right side of the lane, off the glass and in.
Foul goes against Cartwright, away from the ball.
It's her third now.
And a chance now for Montana Tech to tie or take the lead with 1:39 to play here in the third. Think we got a good one going to the fourth quarter? I mean, could we go 2 for 2?
Oh, man, well, yeah. 2 for 2 on the women, maybe get 4 in a row, buzzer beaters.
Why not?
Let's just do it. I didn't even know I was going to be calling this game with you, and then after last week, they're like, well, they have to. They get the good games.
Well, don't mess with karma. Here's a wide open look, squared up nicely. Badavinik got a great look at it, squared up nicely, but just can't get it to fall. So the lead stays at 2 for the Argos.
She has struggled this year from beyond the arc, just 12 of 42 coming into tonight. If you're individually, you want to be in the upper 30s, those low 40s from 3. And she's just under 29.
Whoa, big time
defense.
Contact underneath. Mokafisi is going to go to the line, and she got slammed down hard.
Yeah, she is the one that initiated that contact. Watch this, the weak side defense just a little late, and the foul on Wangren, and she was late getting there. And that's basically it. Her and Olivia Nielsen both.
Well, I wonder, too, Jason, if they won't try to go to Humphreys a little bit more now down the stretch. When she gets that low block post-up move, there's no one out there that can stop her.
But she does also, we just saw it a few minutes ago, from the high post, she has a nice quick move. Okafisi hits the first one.
Lead back to 3.
These two teams combined right now are 5 of 29 from downtown.
Yeah. And
free throws may be a difference in this, Chris. I mean, Tech's just 67% as a team, the Argos 70.
So inside of a minute to play. Oh, Humphreys got a good look at it, but doesn't finish.
Good high-low there with her and Nielsen.
Rival with a basketball. Coming down to 20 seconds.
They will have to shoot it. There's a second differential.
Yeah, it's close. They can take it down and get that last shot. They start their move at 10. There's a...
I thought Rick Gear kept that pivot. She's got such long legs, too. Not only her wingspan we talk about, but that's a costly turnover with 6 seconds to play.
So Montana Tech got 6.4 here.
That is plenty of time to get the ball up the floor.
Absolutely. We were talking about that last week, how much time do you need for a catch and shoot? Well, let's see what they do with here. There's going to be a shot at the buzzer, and it won't go.
They put in Van Villerikum just for that shot. She couldn't get it to drop.
All right, we're through 3 here in Butte. We got a good one going on. Providence, the road team, trying to hand Montana Tech their first home loss of the season. 43-39 our score. Back with the final.
in school and life.
Back for the start of the fourth quarter here in Butte, 43-39. Providence leads by 4.
Keys to the game, Butte Auto. I should have came down here. I need a new truck.
Well, you can always go to Butte Auto just off I-90 at the Harrison Avenue. And Jason, if you are in the market, come to Butte Auto and kick a tire too.
Yeah, why not?
So here we go on the final 10 of this one, 43-39. And much like last week, I think, what a backdoor pass and a finish. Can't do it any better than that.
That's the second or third backdoor that the Argos have run to perfection, and the lead is now 6.
Thurber with the finish. Oh, nicely done for Montana Tech from the right elbow as Nielsen gets the bucket.
I think if you're Jeff Graham, try to, Humphrey's not out there right now, but her and Nielsen on the floor together gives you two bigs that can really do some high-low work together.
We'll see if he doesn't go with that combination later in this quarter. But a lot of credit to Providence. They've maintained this 4, 5, 6 point lead for a long, long time.
Well, what's crazy is we talk about time of possession in football, right, and how important it is. Time of possession in this game, they apparently started doing this, but Providence has had the lead for 78.6% of the game, 24 and a half minutes they've had the lead.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And I know time of possession, it's a little different because we have a shot clock.
Right.
That's still a lot.
It's more chances to score points, right? You're going to get more the longer you have the ball. There's a 3 from the left side is up and in. Wow, that was huge. Olivia Nielsen knocks down a big 3.
Well, that's part of what I'm talking about. If she can hit from outside, we've seen Humphreys fire from the outside, and then you get him down low. Of course, Haber out there is not too shabby.
Ramirez tries to answer.
Got to hurt.
Oh, and now a nice job.
Play will continue, and that.
Yep. So Montana Tech attacking the basketball, and you're right. We got an injured player.
I think that's.
Is that Thurber?
Thurber it is, yeah.
So Thurber is down. Kind of hard to see where she hurt herself.
Well, and if you've never watched basketball, and she's running to the locker room, that is great to see. She'll go back by herself. But if you've never watched basketball, it's like hockey in a delayed penalty. The play doesn't stop until the offense or the other hurt player, comes away with the possession.
But you're right. She sprinted off. It could be
anything.
She could be sick. Just hard to say, but there's a little full court pressure now for Montana Tech, but easily beaten by the Argos.
I think it's more for show right now, and just they haven't really pressured on the press.
Dial.
Wow,
goes hard to the basket. That was a well-contested shot by Montana Tech.
She did a good job just getting it up.
She did. Here's Carlson now. Crosses over. Baseline 3 won't go. So that time Nielsen's can't finish on the 3, and Providence nursing a 1-point lead. Ramirez.
Tell you what, Ramirez is very strong. She's taking a lot of contact, stayed on her feet.
Tough shot there, won't go by Cartwright. Wandering with the basketball. Drives, now kicks outside. Carlson, and Carlson gets a long 2, and Montana Tech is back on top, 46-45.
That's a big shot for the guard from Haver.
All that championship pedigree with the Blue Ponies. And a big basket there to give Tech their first lead in a long, long time. Oh, nice job by Ramirez, but the ball rolls out.
And it's Tech's first lead since they led 9-7.
All the way back to the first quarter, and now a chance to extend the lead. Wandren, pull-up jumper, nope. Dial is there for the rebound. And that takes us to a timeout. 6:21 to play in the fourth. We got a close one here in Butte. Montana Tech leads by 1. Welcome back on our Keys to the Game tonight. We're brought to you by Butte Auto. Easy to find off I-90 at the Harrison Avenue exit in Butte. Find your next ride at Butte Auto. 46-45, and here we go. Deja vu from last week, Jason, when we were up in Helena, and it came down to a buzzer beater, and the young lady from Billings West High School knocked it down with under 10 ticks to go.
Yep. Willa
Albrecht. I ran into her dad at the hotel the next morning, and they said they had a lot of fun rewatching that that buzzer beater on TV. So we'll see.
We had a lot of fun watching it live.
Well, yes, we did. That's pretty much exactly what I said.
You know, both these teams, what I like is the ability to go high-low, or the inside-out game. Nice fake. Beautiful fake, and an easy shot rolling to the basket as Ray Gear puts the Argos back up by 1, 47-46, under 6 to play. You know, it's interesting. Both teams are now 3 of 17 from downtown, and they get a turnover by Tech. Tech 3 for 8 in the second half. 0 for 4 for the Argos. Ramirez. Mokafisi kind of tied up there on the baseline. Good defense by Montana Tech. Shot clock winding down to 5. Great defensive job by Montana Tech. Shot clock violation. Yeah, Diggers will take over. First one of the game. That's nice to see Thurber back in, too, after she ran to the locker room a few minutes ago. Senior from Stansbury Park, Utah. I know where North Salt Lake, Utah is. I don't know where Stansbury is. I don't either. Humphreys all alone and can't get it to go, but a great rebound up and in by Batovitic. And the Diggers back on top by 1. Just her 9th offensive rebound. She had 8 coming into this game. That was huge. That was a big one. Well, every possession now becomes important. We are under 5 to play. No separation in this game. Humphreys just picked up her 4th. Yeah, that was big. Oh, they're going to call it a Nielsen. Okay. All right, so Nielsen gets called for the foul. And a timeout taken on the court. 4:37 to play here in the 4th. Don't go anywhere. So here we go, stretch drive in game 1 of our doubleheader, 48-47. And just like last week, Jason, this will go down to the end. It's unless one of these teams goes on a final big run, but I don't see that happening. The way they're both playing defense. Yeah. Dangerous inbound pass. Tech really dialing up the defense here on the last 2 trips down the court. And there's Thurber, just backs her way in. Strong. Goes to the left hand, scores, and she'll go to the. No, they're going to call the offensive foul with the elbow. You didn't see it from your angle, but I had it, and she definitely pushed off with that elbow. Take another look. See it right here. Yep. There it is. It's plain as day. That's a great call. And it was that last one. I mean, I think they were okay with her holding the elbow, but when she extended it right before 100%. She shot. Yep. And we've mentioned this is a great crew, and that's a great call from the baseline official.
Nice pass inside and an easy bucket. You can't do it better than that as Hadley Humphreys dumps it down low, and Montana Tech now leads by 3.
Its largest lead since it was 9-2.
Here's a 3 on the other way that won't go.
Cartwright hit the deck.
Wandering quickly up court. This is going to go to Great Falls. No, they're going to say Montana Tech.
I think Ramirez just at the end got her hand in there, and maybe they might go to the monitor on this one, honestly. Do they have? Yeah, they have replay.
So they'll go take a look at it. Here it is again. At first blush, it looked like it went off of Montana Tech, right?
Well, Ramirez got it, but did Badavinik touch it last? Yeah, so they are over on the official scores table.
That's what they're going to look at.
Yep. Who touched it last?
Yep, because right there at the very end, and I don't know if Ramirez touched it or not.
She's doing her job as a great guard. You immediately pick it. Might get a different look at this angle.
Oh, that's tough. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to overturn,
got to have conclusive.
It's got to be conclusive.
And I don't think you can.
I don't think you can from that angle. And in a 3-point game with 3:48 to go, this is a big call. But
it is.
I don't know if there's enough on that replay to overturn.
Not from ours. I know they have different looks with their cameras in the gym. I mean, all the Frontier had to put, it was an expensive investment to put these cameras for replay specifically, but this is a big call. And like you said, you've got to have conclusive evidence. So for me, it stays with Tech, but we'll see what the officials over there say. And what I like about the way they do this, they get 2 officials over there, and then they bring the other in just to double check and confirm. And they'll bring him back in too.
Right on cue, that's exactly what they're going to do. So he'll take a peek. Yeah, I agree with you. Unless they've got an angle that we don't have that's much better, I don't think they can overturn it.
I don't think you can. I know they're really zoomed in and slow mode as much as you can, but I like this. You go to the review, you get the call as accurate as you can, because as you said, it's a 3-point game and every possession critical at this juncture with 3:48 to play.
And we saw Dakota State and Carroll last week. Dakota State ranked 4th in the country. Carroll College had just cracked the top 25, and now we've seen these 2 teams tonight. I don't see any separation between these 4 teams.
Oh, they overruled it.
Oh, they did? Okay.
They had an angle we didn't see. But, again, I like it. They came together.
So here we go. Providence down 3 with a basketball. They dump it down low, and shot won't go. Great defense.
Fantastic.
4 players on Mukafisi.
It makes it hard to pass out of it.
And now we'll see if Montana Tech will use some clock here. Still pretty early. Going to whistle and a foul here on the baseline.
It's going to go on arrival with a hold.
Yep.
Just a second team foul. Neither team's even close to the bonus at this point.
Yeah, both with just two fouls and only 3:24 to play. Shot clock at 20.
And when you keep an eye on free throws, 10 of 13 is Providence. Tech's just 5 of 7. And they're going to want to get there more as this game goes on.
Nice pass down low, and that's going to send Hobber to the line.
Regier, a little hip check.
Haley, as you mentioned, Jason, really struggling at the free throw line. Just over 50%.
But she hit 2, right, earlier?
Yes, she did.
I just want to make sure we got this straight. Yeah, we're done.
Leading scorer on the team at 16 points a game. Just a sophomore. And there you go, 3 for 3 tonight. And I got to check that.
Wait, okay.
She's 75% from the line.
Well, no, so they've got her in there twice. So
Twice,
she is
yep.
20 of 36, whatever that works out to. What goes 1 out of 2.
I think what they do sometimes on the stats is they'll do the conference and then the overall.
And then it got combined.
And they put both of them in there, and if you don't get the right line, you can be off.
Well, nice drive. You're going to get a couple of free throws for the Argos. I was the sports information director at Providence 3 seasons ago, and I can tell you, if you don't enter something right the first time, it's hard to get it changed.
See, they've got her
53 and 75.
Yeah, I think it's 75. I think it's the 53 is just for the conference games, maybe. So we're exactly 3 minutes to play here in the fourth. Montana Tech leads by 3, 51-48. And a chance to cut it to 2, and Rival does, 51-49.
Well, now we're going to see the chess match, right, Chris? You're going to each team with the timeouts. Diggers have 4, Providence has 2. The 3 fouls,
and there you go with the 2 bigs now for Tech, which you talked about.
I like it. I think it's a great decision by Coach Graham here to do it. Run some high-low.
Let's see if they do now, and there it is. You pop her out. Good defense. Haber's shot is up and in. That was huge.
Well, what do you do when it's crunch time? You go to your leading scorer.
Big bucket there. Back to a 4-point game. No, shot won't go by. And here comes out quickly.
Pavinick's fouled. She'll shoot 2, but I want to go back to that last defensive play. Olivia Nielsen did a fantastic job guarding Rival. Rival's got the quickness, and as you take another look at the foul here for Pavinick, she'll head to the free throw line. But Nielsen did a good job jumping in the air, defending, and falling backwards, so she didn't get charged with the block. Well, this is the girl you want if you're Tech at the free throw line.
Yep.
88% on the year. She's missed 3 coming into tonight. Does that mean 0 for 2 here? I hope not.
You said it. First free throw is up.
I'm saved.
Builds the lead to 5 at 54-49. Still a lot of time in this one, 2:21. I think if you're Montana Tech, you just keep attacking right now. It's paying off.
That's a 7-point lead now for the Diggers, or 6-point lead. And you wonder 2 things here. Is Providence going to run some high-low at the elbow with Regier and Thurber? That's a nice pass. That's a great play.
Nice finish by Thurber. Even better pass by Regier. And it's back to a 4-point game. Under 2 to play in the fourth.
Timeout, Coach Graham.
Yeah, Coach Graham going to talk this one over.
30. So let me finish my thought real quick. 55-51. Tech 7-0 at home, so they know how to win here at home.
Sure.
And you just wonder if everything that's gone on in the last week for the Providence Argos with the loss of a former player, we mentioned it, Kate Heidemann, has that started, will that play a factor? They're tired, they didn't practice all week. Can they get over the hump and finish strong here? And it's just something to think about.
Well, and it's certainly, what an emotional week, and that extends a lot of energy, not in a good way.
Right.
You're in that grieving process. The coach backs things off. They take some time off, and but this has been a good game from start to finish. Yeah, I mean, there's not been a double-digit lead by either team.
Nope. 9 the biggest. Tech's led by as much as 7. So I mean, this is I love this.
Well, and I think more than the offenses in this game, it's the team that has come up the biggest on defense that's led to leads and points. We'll see if Montana Tech can score here. There's that size inside shot is up and in.
Nielsen.
So Olivia Nielsen, it's those 2 6-footers playing that high-low game, and there you go, 57-51.
I'm not a coach, but my dad is, and I've worked with some great coaches in my career. You just felt it.
Yep.
That's a great block by Pavinick.
Oh, Coach Graham is. He might, if he was doing the high jump, he'd have cleared, 6'2", 6'3", maybe.
Stick that credit card underneath. Get some credit card check.
57-51.
This is a big possession here for Providence right
now. Sure it is. Mokofisi will go to the line as she draws the foul, and that's what you got to do. Draw the foul, stop the clock, shoot free throws.
And if you're Tech, now both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the way, so 2 shots no matter what for the final 79 seconds.
Not ideal to have her at the free throw line at 40%, but she buries that one.
Man, they are making us look both good and jinxed tonight. It's a great look at Coach Himmelberg.
Yeah.
He has done a fantastic job, 16 years at the helm.
16 with this school, but then another couple decades in Great Falls with CMR at the high school level as an assistant coach, and I think he coached at a private school as well. So he has been in the city of Great Falls for a long, long time, and I know that's your stomping grounds. You know him well.
I have worked with him a long time, and it's always fun to get to know the coaches on outside the court. But 2 big free throws there for Mokofisi, and it's a 4-point game.
4 points, 57-53. Now under a minute to go. Oh, here's a wide open look for third. She's got it.
That is Nielsen's second 3, and that one is super big. Makes it a 3-possession game now.
Wow, that was huge. No bigger 3 of the night than that one. 60-53 with 52 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter. And there it is again. She was open.
Yep.
And takes the shot, knocks it down.
Well, you're so worried about one of the other, her or Humphreys down low, and that means one of them can sneak out. Nielsen, 8 threes coming in all season into this game, and 2 big ones here in the fourth quarter.
Just her, 8 coming in, but hitting it at 40%. And as you said, anything in those upper 30s to 40% is good. So she hasn't made a lot, but she hasn't taken a lot.
She's opportunistic with them.
Yeah.
And now I like this Tech going to come out with a little pressure in the backcourt, make Providence expel time up the floor. And now they back it off.
That's just it. It's just forcing you to use more clock. Here's Ramirez, goes right to the basket. Won't go, and a huge rebound by Nielsen.
You look at Ramirez's game, and it reminds me so much of the 2 girls, and there's the foul from Dial. The 2 young ladies sitting on the bench over there next to Coach Himmelberg, Steph McDonough, Emily Maldonado, both fantastic guards, and they've had such an influence on Ramirez's game for sure.
When you see that a lot especially in the Frontier Conference, where former players will cut their teeth in coaching by becoming graduate assistants or assistants, and you see that across the Frontier.
100%, and I love it because there's so many great young coaches that are coming up now. We talked about it last week. The longevity of these coaches in the Frontier Conference, especially on the women's side, you don't have a whole lot of turnover.
Wanderen hits the first, 84% from the line. Second free throw is up and in, and that is the largest lead of the night for the Diggers at 9, 62-53. 35 seconds to go.
Just don't foul if you're Tech.
And they just did. So Dial drives the length of the court.
You know what the plan is. At least defend it, and then don't foul. That's what Coach Graham's over there saying right now.
Well, that was a must for Olivia Dial as leading scorer for this Argo team, with a chance to cut it to a 2-possession game now.
74%, not bad.
Not bad, and the lead is 7. He could get it to 6 here, still plenty of time. It comes down to free throws.
32 seconds is going to take 5 minutes because of fouls. But you give your team the best chance you can to win, no matter how it works.
She's got the 3-point play, and now full court pressure. You go to the trap inside.
Yep. You go for the steal first. If it's not there, then you go for the trap.
And that took all of 1 second off the clock. So back to the free throw line goes Humphreys. And for Montana Tech, free throws more than likely will decide this game.
and they are a good free throw shooting team overall at 70.1. So Hadley Humphreys, senior from Blackfoot, Idaho, now has 9,999 career points. Or 999.
If she had 9,000.
If she had 9,000, that'd be Pete Maravich. 1,000 career points.
There's 1,000.
Congratulations.
Yep, absolutely. And they know it too.
Yep, they absolutely do.
They just announced it. Coach Graham, he's just coaching.
Yes.
We'll talk about that at the end of the game.
Yeah, congratulations to that young lady.
Lead is 8. Here we go. Shot won't go.
Has not hit a 3 in the second half, and that is a big difference in this ball game. And then they foul Hobber.
Yeah, Hobber's going to go to the line. Could extend this to a 10-point game. And Montana Tech on the verge of going 8-0 at home. 13-1 overall, 9-1 in the Frontier Conference. What a great start as we near the midway point of the Frontier. And we talked about this last week, Jason, about how quickly they begin league play now with so many teams. They're playing for keeps in early November. That shot won't go.
Well, and Wes Keller at Rocky told you this a couple weeks ago. It's hard to get your freshmen ready, and this is a freshman league as well.
Yep.
It's not just juniors and seniors.
Second free throw is good, so the lead is 9.
I mean, Hobber's a sophomore.
Ribel drives down into the baseline, now finds a cutting Dial who loses the basketball.
Just
fight for the loose ball. Shot is up and in. They finally get it to go as Rogel finishes, but that's not going to be nearly enough.
No, you can just dribble this out if you're Tech. Providence won't foul. A great come-from-behind victory by the Orediggers to stay unbeaten at home.
Terrific comeback by this Montana Tech team as they trail by as many as 9 points. And really, Jason, they trailed for 3/4 of this game until Montana Tech came up with a huge fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did. And again, you give the credit to the Tech defense. The adjustments they made at halftime definitely paid off in the second half.
65-58 the final score as Montana Tech goes to 13-1 overall, 9-1 in the Frontier, 8-0 at home. As we take a look at the final numbers.
Tech went from 23% to 42% shooting. That means lights out in the second. Providence, very nice. Tech with the offense or the rebound advantage, that came in big. They led for 9 minutes and 29 seconds and get the victory. That's how it works. And congratulations to both these teams so far on the seasons. And Tech just a little bit better down the stretch tonight.
All right, so that takes us to the end of the first of 2 games tonight here in Butte. The women win it 65-58. We'll step aside for just a few minutes. Then we will come back as the men get set to tip at 7 o'clock. For all of us at SWX and our crew tonight, for Jason Walker, I'm Chris Myers. Stick around. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half of tonight's doubleheader.